Today we're going to meet Katherine Hinkel, museum studies professional and blogger on nonprofit salary issues.
Thank you so much for being with us today. You write the blog Museas Unite. What prompted you to write that blog?
When a friend of mine and I graduated with our Master's in Museum Studies and we were going through the process of applying to jobs in the sector, we were looking at the requirements in education and experience and comparing that to the salaries on offer and the benefits packages and such. And we realized that there's a huge discrepancy between what the requirements are and what the compensation package would be.
Katherine, through your blog you've done some research. What have you found?
We actually conducted an online salary survey among museum professionals from just starting out all the way through to 34 years working in museums. And what we found was an average salary and basically graphed all the information and made a trend line. There are a few people in museums that are doing very, very well, that have raised that trend line up, but the majority of people are actually earning lower than your average salary. This distorts the way that the public and people in the sector view museum salaries because they're looking at big numbers that are published through newspaper articles using 990 forms. They're seeing these very, very high numbers, but the reality of the situation for your average museum worker is not going to be something in that range.
So Katherine, what do you think is behind all of this?
There's this culture within the museum sector that sort of states that if you really love museums, you're willing to work for pennies. Your dedication to museums is actually completely expressed in how little you're willing to be compensated and how much overtime and how much loyalty you're willing to give to the museum.
So you answered that question specifically about museums. Do you think this carries over to other areas of the nonprofit sector?
Absolutely. I think that throughout nonprofits, especially in ones dedicated to the humanities, you're going to see a very similar discrepancy between very, very high pay for the directors and very, very low pay for starting salaries.
But do you think that's a belief or a philosophy that is beyond them as well?
Yes, I think so, especially in terms of funders and the money coming into museums or other nonprofits. They want that money to be going to projects. They don't actually comprehend how little money those people that are doing that work and using their money for good are making. So they are not earmarking that money to allow for it to go to salaries.